Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video. Got a good one for you guys today. We're going to be giving you guys a comprehensive seminar, a little tutorial on how to use dyes for different type of soft plastics. And this information that you're going to get here today has came after decades of me working with dyes, using dyes, getting dye all over my boat carpet, getting dye all over my hands. So you're going to benefit from that because there's an art form to using dye as far as creating different type of situations and understanding which dyes are compatible with different colors. So we're going to get into that in today's video. I think you guys are going to like it. Real quick, guys, our dreaded housekeeping tips. I know they're a pain in the butt, but if I couldn't do the housekeeping tips, I wouldn't be doing the videos. So I appreciate you guys being patient with that. Just wanted to remind everybody about our new SolarBat RB3 series sunglasses, guys, we came out with. Got the new crystallized matte gray frames on it that really reduces the light reflection. Got super good optical clarity. These things are really cool on your face. Don't get blown off in the wind. Right now you can get a pair 30% off. I'll put the SolarBat link in the description. And if you have a purchase of over $56 for every $56 purchase, you get a $30 pair of sunglasses free with it. So I think you guys will really like them. Okay, get into today's video. Okay guys, I am a fanatic for using dyes. I've sort of like taken it to the next level because I carry probably in my compartment over there, in one of my compartments, I have a box like this just full of dyes, different colors of dyes. Because one of the things that I like about using dyes on soft plastics is that you can match the water clarity and the sunlight conditions to your soft plastics, as far as you can make on the water adjustments, and you can change based upon variations in that water clarity and variations in the light intensity. And also you can create colors that nobody else has. So we're going to get into that. Now, first of all, I want to talk about the three different applications. You have the dip-and dyes like this. And by the way, guys, all these dyes, these are all Spike It. I'll put the my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. If you guys want to get you some dye there, you can use those links, it'd be good. But anyway, you've got the dip-and dyes like this, and then you've got the spray dyes like this, and then you've got the marking pens. Now, the difference between these three is the applications, is the way they show up on the bait. Now, if you dip, I'm gonna show you guys some examples of what I'm talking about here. And I'm gonna get dye all over my hands by doing this. Let's take, for example, that you dip a bait in there. Now this is what you're gonna have with it when you dip it. You're gonna have a real uniform, pretty bright looking color like that when you put the dip and dye in there. Now let's take the same bait and I'm gonna use the spray on it. And if you spray it like this, the thing about the spray is you can get different levels of coloration in there. See, some of the spray, when you use the spray, it's not like super bright and pronounced. You can get different degrees of brightness on there. So this is one of the reasons that I use a lot of spray dyes, because it's almost like a can of spray paint. You can hold it farther and you can apply less, and you can make like bleeding, like it fades into there, and just lighter shades. Now sometimes I want that. Say for example, I want a subtle type of a look. I want the more bleeding effect, but sometimes if the water's super dirty, I want that bright one, so I'll dip it. So there's a place for both of them. And then also, let's say for example, you don't want much at all, you just want a little bit. That's when you can take the marking pens and you can be real precise. You can put just as much or as little that you want on there. Sometimes when, say the water's a little bit cleaner and you don't want something to stand out quite so much, you can put a little puff on there, and see how I got just a little bit of puff on there versus like the dip. So you got three different looks based upon the dip and dye and the spray and the marker. And there are applications for both on that. So don't think that you just need one. You really need all three, guys. You need the spray, you need the marking pens, and you need the dip and dye. Now, one of the things I want to talk about here in today's video is how different colors of dye react to different colors of plastic, because sometimes it doesn't work very good. Now, let me give you another example here. let's take the chartreuse dye, which a lot of people use, and let's see what happens. Say you wanted to create, this is a black and blue Zoom Super Chunk. Say you wanted a black jig with a chartreuse trailer or chartreuse ends on it. What happens if you dip this chartreuse, I think they want to go into the black. Well, I can get it in there, it's sticking on me. God dang. There. Okay, if you dip it into that black like that, that's what you get out of it. It's sort of like a baby poop green. But then if you take the same Super Chunk in like a green pumpkin or watermelon, and you use the same chartreuse dye in it, I'll show you the difference. It turns out a really nice bright chartreuse. So here's the two difference based upon the color of your soft plastic with the chartreuse dye. So obviously there's some baits like the darker ones just doesn't work like that. But here's what you can do. This is another cool trick I'm gonna share with you guys. And this is where the black dye comes in. This is a dye color you definitely want, guy. Get you some black dye. This is Spike It Black. A lot of people don't use black, but I use black heavily. Let's say, for example, I want to create a jig trailer that's black with chartreuse pinchers on it. So I tried to do it right there. It doesn't work. What you can do is get you a light colored one, like a white one here, or watermelon or something, green pumpkin. The lighter shades, the more translucent shades will hold the color better. What you do is come in first with black on the top, like that. So I've got black on there. And make sure that you got a towel when you do this, guys, towel or a paper towel, because this stuff will get everywhere on you. So I've got black with it there. Now I'm gonna come in and I'll put my chartreuse on it. Now look what I got here. I got a nice black and chartreuse jig trailer off of what started out as a white. We created this with black and chartreuse, and look at the difference here between the two. Between my black and chartreuse I tried to create versus that. So once you get a feel for how the different colors of soft plastics take dye, that gives you a big advantage as far as creating different colors. A lot of it is experimentation. I mean, some soft plastics, depending upon the what they're made of, some of them simply take dye better than others. But overall, like I said, I use Zoom plastics most all the time. They take dye pretty good. Now, let's talk a little bit about colors on it. I'll show you the colors that I use here. My main colors, again, are the chartreuse. I think everybody's favorite here. Everybody probably has got a can or a jar of chartreuse in there. Chartreuse it's really good for creating a little bit different look, as far as a little bit brighter look in the water. If the water's got a little bit of dinge to it, you can do a lot of stuff as far as creating like perch imitations. But there's very few lures that don't improve with just a little bit of chartreuse on it. It seems like chartreuse on any type of a natural looking green pumpkin or watermelon sort of adds to the strike. So I do use it quite a bit. The next one that I use with that is quite a bit of blue here. Blue is another color that a lot of people don't use. And let me give you guys another example of what you can do with blue. Let's say example, you want a black and blue jig here. I'd simply come in, with my black on my green pumpkin, watermelon, or white. Then come into my blue here. Then I got a nice black and blue just off the black and blue dye there. And another thing that works pretty good, guys, I'll tell you a little tip for using blue dye is I'm going to show you here one of my favorite setups. Is you can take a green pumpkin trailer, like jig trailer. Now you can do these on anything. You can do them on creature baits, plastic worms. I'm just using jig trailers for an example. But here's one of my favorite color combos, guys. Take a green pumpkin and put some blue on it like that. That's probably a little bit too much. But that green pumpkin with blue on it is a really good color. Like I'll put that behind like a brown jig or green pumpkin jig. It's a really good jig color with that. So the blue is another big color with me there. Now I got my orange over here. Hold on one second. I got to get my my orange. What do I do with it here? Okay, orange is another good color, guys. This is orange is the color that I use a lot during the pre-spawn and in the fall time of the year. A lot of people, when they're thinking about orange, you know, they use orange a lot like in the early spring, which it is a really good color. Early spring is a good time. But also this time of year is a really good time of year to use orange. November, December, anything like that, it works pretty good with that. So I'll shortly show you one of my favorite color setups with this. And again, like I said, this is, I don't care if you're using a beaver or a brush hog or a trick worm or whatever, these same color patterns work good, but putting a little bit of orange like that on a green pumpkin in the fall time of the year or the early spring is a really good way to catch them. Again, like on a brown or green pumpkin type jig. But mainly, guys, you just have to experiment with it. Once you get used to it, you'll get a feel for sort of, you know, your favorites on there. And one of the things that I can, a little tip I'll give you with this, as far as the amount of dye that you have in there, you can put just a little bit, like I said, or you can put a lot or in between on that. Try to match that up to the specific conditions out there. Let's say, for example, you're fishing on a fairly bright sunny day and the water's fairly clean. Under a condition like that, you may just want a little puff of something on the tail, so you use a marking pen. In a opposite condition, say for example, you got low light conditions, maybe the water visibility is pretty dirty, you got a cloudy, you know, type day out there, that's when you want to go bold and bright, you know, with the dipping on there. And the thing about that is when you get into situations that are extreme, whether it be clear or dirty out there, you can create colors that nobody else has. Say for example, like this right here, this pearl with chartreuse on it, it creates a bright chartreuse that you can't hardly buy in the store. It's very rare to see it. So if you get in a muddy water situation and you need something that's super bright, you can create it on the water. This is what I did up at Lake of the Ozarks when I caught a fish that weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces up there last month on there, and the water was really dirty. So I created the color up here with the bright chartreuse like that on a white or a pearl type of a jig trailer to create that super bright look. So it's just a matter of experimentation and matching the water conditions, the sky conditions, the wind, and that type of deal. But the main thing, guys, is I want to encourage is just get you a good selection of it. Get you, 4 or 5 different colors of dye. Get the pins, get the spray dyes and the dipping dyes, and just experiment. And the advantage with it, like I said, you can create a color that nobody else has. And that's a big deal. You cannot discount having something that nobody else is using mentally. That not only it'll work actually in a real life situation, it gives you a huge boost mentally. And another thing that I do, I don't have it with me here, is you can take any of these dipping dyes like this, and you can take a toothbrush and you can dip that toothbrush into dye, and you can color the side of your hard baits. This is one of the things I do quite a bit. I don't care if it's a jerk bait or crankbait or something like that, and I'll take it and I'll scrape the sides really rough where you can see some of like the clear in it, or sand it down where it's real rough, and take a toothbrush and put that dye in it and just color the side of your crankbaits or your jerk baits, and you can create some super, super cool looks with that. One of my favorite things to do is on crankbaits and jerk baits, I'll scrape the sides down to the bare plastic, and I'll take a toothbrush with some chartreuse dye and I'll rub it on the side, and it gives it a nice translucent chartreuse look that is really, really good. The fish really like it quite a bit. But I'd highly recommend it, guys. Just get you some dye, start playing with it. It's one of the most important parts of my fishing. I'll tell you that right now. When it comes to me trying to get a competitive edge and just a mental advantage, I feel like dyes give me a huge advantage with that. So again, try them out, guys. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse links in the description if you guys want to get some there, and I hope it helps out. We'll see you guys later.